Hey everyone, welcome back to another My Hero Academia Season 5 review. Before we hop into episode 6, let me give you all a quick refresh on what happened last week. The first battle had just wrapped up, and both classes went over their results before the next battle. At the beginning of round 2, we hear Kendo's resolve to not be lumped together with YAOYOROZU. We see Takeyomi go head to head with Kawario, who is the perfect counter to his Dark Shadow, which provided the perfect opportunity to show that his work study with Hawks was very effective in helping him level up his own moveset. Then, by the end of the episode, when Class A thinks the ball is in their court, they get halted by a bunch of Kinoko's mushrooms. So what does this mean for Class A? Well, I guess we'll be finding out now, won't we? The episode starts pretty much exactly where it left off, with Kinoko growing a bunch of mushrooms everywhere. Her mushroom Quirk allows her to release spores from her body that can grow the mushrooms anywhere she wants instantaneously, with the rate being greater if there is high humidity. We can see that that is no issue for her. However, as she has 2 humidifying guns that will really make that air damp. At first glance, this doesn't really seem like it would be all that powerful of a quirk, as just growing mushrooms seems kind of useless. But that's when you see that not only she can just have them grow in large quantities on the ground and walls, but she can also grow them as much as she wants on your actual body. They seem to be able to be brushed off fairly easily, but they also grow back just as quick, which could definitely be an element of psychological warfare. I mean, the idea of fungus growing on your body like that is kind of disturbing. It makes my skin crawl. With this annoying diversion, Kawario takes advantage of there being black mushrooms out in the battlefield and slips into one to make his escape from Hagakure and YAOYOROZU. He flashes back to Kendo over what she feels Class A's plan would be and strategizes accordingly with 2 plans. Since Plan A was a failure due to Tokiyomi's fallen angel, Class B is now on their Plan B. It's not immediately clear what it is, but I'm sure it won't be long until that's revealed to us. Not before we get a whack, thud, boom, ah, bam, and a crash. So we finally get to see the speech bubble head guy in action. His name is Manga Fugadashi, and has the quirk Comic. This quirk allows him to materialize sound effects and onomatopoeia, with some even being able to have some special characteristics depending on what sound they come from. Honestly, this is probably one of the most interesting quirks My Hero has introduced. The character as a whole is just pretty zany, but then tacking on the whackness that is speaking your attacks into existence is just so creative and fun. Using more giant word structures, Manga is able to separate the members of Class A. It's interesting that some of the materials his words are made from are as strong as they are, as Aoyama's laser wasn't able to penetrate it at all. But separating Class A isn't the only thing he does. He also speaks some dampness into existence, allowing Kinoko's mushrooms to grow even more, much to Hagakure's dismay. With Class A on the ropes, it's of course time for Vlad King to step in and praise his students to the max, leading to more of Class A calling out his biased commentary. Todoroki even got sucked into protesting somehow, although you can tell he truly doesn't care with how low and monotone his voice is. Then again, that is kind of what Todoroki is like 24/7, so who knows? Maybe he is tired of Vlad King's bias. We might never know. Anyhow, getting back to the fight at hand, it becomes painfully obvious that Class B's Plan B was not to separate Class A as a whole, but more specifically to cut them all off from YAOYOROZU. Kendo comes in with her big fist and just blasts YAOYOROZU back, destroying the tungsten shield she created. While we already know that Kendo's big fist quirk gives her the ability to enlarge her hands, I don't think we were ever explicitly told that the bigger she makes her fist, the more strength it has. I can definitely see how that could be utilized in a strategic way. I'm assuming the drawback of her quirk is that her fists get bigger and thus more powerful, that they become a bit hard to use, resulting in slower movements. During the summer training camp, she could make them as big as she wanted because her intent was to fan all of Mustard's toxic gas away rather than trying to actually fight him in hand-to-hand combat. But a slightly smaller fist would give her much more mobility when fighting her opponents head-on. Kendo reflects on the sports festival and how Tokiyomi was able to overwhelm YAOYOROZU by repeatedly attacking her, and hopes to create the same result here, not giving her a chance to think and hoping to make her use up her creation quirk as quickly as possible. However, as Todoroki begins to point out, this is something that she can handle, as she has gained a little bit of confidence since defeating Aizawa. I do say a little bit, as she still seems to have some self-confidence issues in terms of her capabilities. However, she feels she needs to not look pathetic in front of the peer that puts her above themselves. As Kendo goes for the final blow, YAOYOROZU has a bit of a surprise for her. What could it be? Some of those stun grenades to make an escape? Maybe some way to bind Kendo? No. A cannon. She manifests a cannon. She's an insane person. We get a quick look at how Tokoyami and Aoyama are doing, and it's fine at first, until Koryo comes out of the shadows and once again stills Aoyama. I don't understand why Aoyama doesn't start firing his quirk as he's being dragged around. It really doesn't seem like anything is preventing him from doing so I'm not really sure why he keeps ending up in this situation. As Tokoyami goes to retrieve his comrade, he gets a nice face full of mushrooms as well as some of Manga's words. He cleverly uses the bounce automatopoeia to bounce a fast-moving zoom off of it, showing once again how cool of a quirk it is. Heading back to YAOYOROZU's fight, Kendo worries about her trying to bust down Manga's wall and attempts to destroy the cannon. As it turns out though, the cannon wasn't for destroying anything. It was for sending off a care package to her teammates on the other side. Inside it were thermal goggles for Tokoyami so he could find the other Class B members a lot easier, as well as ethanol spray to keep mushrooms off of them. The tables appear to have turned to Class A's favor, as Hagakure seems to be having an easy time beating up Manga, and Tokoyami swoops in with the Black Abyss Sabbath attack on Koryo and Kanoko. As Koryo desperately tries to find darkness to melt into, he makes the mistake of jumping into Tokoyami's cape, ensuring his capture. With Dark Shadow's hold on Kanoko and Hagakure seemingly having the upper hand on Manga, round 2 looks like it's pretty much wrapped up, until Tokoyami starts choking. As it turns out, Kanoko can also cause mushrooms to grow inside her enemy's lungs. So yeah, her quirk might have seemed okay at first glance, but now it's pretty easy to understand why she's in Class B at the nation's top hero school. She's pretty scary. Then, in a stunning turn of events, Kendo shows up to stop Hagakure's assault on Manga. It seems that she was in fact able to overcome YAOYOROZU, although not as easily as she attached herself to her cannon, making it as difficult as possible for Kendo to capture her. But with all of this, Class B has their first victory over Class A. Todoroki worries about YAOYOROZU getting discouraged again from being defeated, while the others reflect on just how tough of a battle was fought. And that's the episode. I'm sad for YAOYOROZU, as this kind of stuff has broken her confidence in the past, but I do think it's a very important battle for Class B, as it shows that they truly are able to contend with the best of the best. The episode as a whole was definitely pretty decent, although it certainly wasn't as exhilarating as the first battle, but still good nonetheless. However, I'm pretty excited for the next battle, as we've got Todoroki and Ida appearing next. And if the season previews from months ago is anything to go by, it's gonna look pretty great. But let me know what you all think in the comment section below. Also be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video. With that said, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all real soon with some more awesome anime content.